Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's Thursday morning, and as you can see, it's quite overcast, and it looks like it's going to be a wet old day here in Sydney town. So what I'll do is I'll go on a walk and talk and try and get through this vlog as best I can before the rains set in. And today's book is entitled The Slight Edge by an author known as Jeff Olson. So Jeff kicks off his book summary with an observation where he says the truth is that what you do matters. It's the small inconsequential things that you do, that I do, that we all do over and over again that generates a compounding effect that eventually makes a great difference and a significant impact. So much so that Einstein described the power of compounding as the eighth wonder of the world. So it's a key message that comes from this book today, that it's the small things that you do over and over again. It's the consistency of those small things that end up generating the greatest impact in our lives. And we should never, underestimate these small things that you do on a daily basis that eventually, step by step, floor by floor, window by window, build a massive head of steam and get us to a place that we didn't think it was possible to get to once we first decided to go on our particular journey. So the key message from this author, the key call to action is to start now, start today, start at your next and every engagement to do something that will get you closer to where you want to be, and to understand that it is a mindset thing. It's something that that is part of the way we see the world, our worldview, and we can influence that worldview by choosing the mindset that we want to apply to how we interpret the things that happen to us every day and every step of the way. So the first formal point to come from this book, from this author, is that every day and at every moment we have a choice to make, and those choices are really, really powerful choices, and can impact significantly the outcomes that will appear before you throughout the day and the magic that you can manifest. Because as we mentioned before, and we'll just keep on mentioning because it is such a profound lesson, that repetitive actions over a consistent period that are aligned to our goals and values can make a significant impact to our lives. But the first thing we need to do is we need to understand that it is a choice, and we need to first choose our predominant state of mind. And the author breaks it down into two types of mindset that most people experience and express. You can either have a blaming mindset or a winning mindset. So the blaming mindset, I first came across this years ago where I was at a course, I forget which course it was, but the course leader said that there are two types of people. There are people who are who look for differences in the world around them, and there are people who look for similarities in the world around them. So depending on what sort of mindset you have and what sort of personality type you express will determine how you see the world. So what we're saying here is that there are people who will look for differences between two pictures, for example. You know how when we're growing up we had spot the difference. The people who are good at spotting the differences are the sort of people who will look through life and just look for what's wrong between one picture and the other, or what's not consistent between one picture and the other. And there's another group of people who are quite different, and what they do is they look at both pictures and look for what's similar to each other. So it's two different mindsets. One looks for what's wrong and one looks for what's right. And what I've learnt over my lifetime is that if you look for what is common to both elements, you're probably going to have a better life. When you're talking to people, when you're interacting with people, and you're looking for what's common between both people, that's going to get you further than trying to identify what's different between me and you, because no two people are the same, so there's going to be lots and lots of differences. What the big trick in life, I guess, is to try and identify what we're both similar at, because that's where you find your common element, and it's that common element that is binding, can help you collaborate, cooperate, and work together. So the author here says that there is a blaming or a winning sort of mindset, and the ones who are the blaming mindsets are the ones who see themselves as victims, that victim mentality. And the opposite side is a person who has a responsible mentality, where they say that regardless of what happens, I am able to respond in a way which is beneficial, which is empowering, which can help the situation, as opposed to, using the rocks that we are given at birth to build walls. We can use those rocks to build bridges. There are some people that come into our lives who have a victim mentality, and all they want to do is use those rocks to build walls, and also with the rocks that are left over, they use those rocks to turf at us and to attack us. Whereas the whole goal in our lives is to build bridges to allow us to get from one spot to another safely. So I guess another way of looking at these mindset challenges, some people describe them as having a growth or a fixed mindset. The people with growth mindset are looking for opportunities, and they see that every step in the way is a stepping stone, an ability and an opportunity to learn. Whereas the ones with a fixed mindset basically seeing the world as black and white, them versus us, a lost opportunity. Whereas we are invited to see the world in a different way. We are invited to see the world as a world of opportunity, as a world that is inviting us to progress. So the important message to come from this author is that we should try and get through life and not live with regret, not live with regrets, and to try and make the most of each an opportunity that we have available to us. And to understand that each and every one of us have a different past, a different present. I am here, you are there, and we're all going to have a different future. And what we need to do is to understand that all the lessons in our past, in our lives, all the experiences that we have gained are there to help us become better people, to arm us with lessons, with patterns that we can use in a productive way in our lives. You know, they're stepping stones, as I said, to our future. And it's experience gained. Now, we're not being punished throughout our lives, but all of those things need to be seen as lessons, as opportunities for growth and development to take us to the next level, to the next station in our lives. So the author here says that we are invited to choose our responses, and our own productive and empowering worldview will come from how we use the building blocks that we are gifted by God. The next point that comes from this author is an absolute cracker, and I love this. And the author says that it's important to be able to appreciate the invisible results that come from our life, from the work that we do, and that most people can't appreciate these invisible results. On our journey to weight loss, on our journey to fitness and strength training, whenever we go to the gym, whatever we do, our study towards our degrees, our investment in our families, our friends, our relationships, all of these are an invitation for us to appreciate a thing called the invisible results. And it's hard. It's hard for most people to visualize these invisible results along the way, along the path, because just like everything, weight loss, fitness, relationships, all of those things happen in lag time. We invest along the way, we do things on a daily basis, and we don't see immediate results until 6 months pass, or 6 years pass, or who knows how long it takes. In our careers, we work hard, and it may take a number of years before our hard work, our investment, translates to something that is possible, that is productive and rewarding. I remember years ago at an Anthony Robbins seminar hearing about the metaphor of the bamboo tree. There's a particular type of bamboo tree that spends, I think, the first 3 years just growing underground. They plant a seed, and then for the next 3 years, that bamboo tree grows and grows and grows, but it's not visible. You can't see the growth because it's the root system that is extending underground and building a tremendous base. And then in the 3rd year, just out of nowhere, this massive clump of bamboo just sprouts out of the ground, and you just are overwhelmed by how quickly it can actually happen. But that's an example of being able to appreciate the invisible results, or to be able to visualize and appreciate the outcome of your investment before it eventuates, knowing that step by step, day by day, there is a compounding element that is happening, and once it starts taking off in a massive way. So what we need to do and what we're called to do is to put in the work and trust the process. Your choices will determine your future. What you do, what you eat, and how you respond to life's challenges will compound in many ways. So just understand, just like in that ad on television, you know, every cigarette you smoke is having an impact on your health. And it may not impact you today, it may not impact you tomorrow, but in 10 or 20 years of smoking, or 10 or 20 years of eating poorly, or 10 or 20 years of abusing people, abusing your body, abusing your environment, sooner or later the time will come for you to pay the piper. So the small mundane things that we do on a daily basis, those small boring things that we're called to do, will have a massive, as we said, a massive impact in time that will impact and improve or destroy us over time. So what we need to do is to understand this science and to leverage this science wherever possible in order to create magic in our world. So the last point that the author touches on is the 3-step goal setting process, where he says that you need to basically write down and then visualize and then act on your goals and dreams in order to bring them to fruition. And that clarity is power. Now we need to be clear in terms of what we do and unambiguous. We need to make the small changes to our daily routines and to understand that those small changes, those small ripples, eventually can turn into a tsunami of energy and outcomes. Now we need to trust the process and we need to trust this learning. And the last point that comes out of this book is to take our goals and to chunk them down, to turn them into small steps. Now we can even eat an elephant as long as we chunk it down and cut into small enough pieces that we can chew and eat over a longer period of time. So there you go. Thank you very much once again for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. Sorry that I've had to have my camera on a more magnified perspective today, but I'm just having a little bit of an issue with my other camera. As you can see, it just goes in and out. So I'll take it to get it fixed. But in the meantime, I appreciate you joining me on this episode, and I look forward to coming to you again from a different place with a different message of empowerment as we steadily step through the thousands and thousands of book summaries and all of the lessons that come with those book summaries. So I'm up to now 1,416, I think, today's episode is. So I'm well on my way to 1,500 book summaries. Hopefully I'll get that done by the end of the year. And I just can't believe how I've been able to get through so much material to the point where I am now one of the most prolific vloggers in the world on personal development and book summaries. Something that I never thought possible. But it just goes to show that if you do one a day or two a day over many days, it doesn't take long before you're able to accumulate a massive amount of material that hopefully one day will be appreciated, will be listened to and seen by many throughout the world. Anyway, take care, happy Thursday, and until we chat again, yasas, and let's live, learn, and pass it on to the next generation wherever possible. Bye for now.